Welcome back to the Yee Yee podcast, aka the Smith's dinner table, because this is basically just our entire family in the room right now. We have Granger, Amber, and Tyler.
Still looking for Yee Yee sister-in-law? Comment below. No, that doesn't work. We know that doesn't work. We've tried that.
Yes. Please don't do that. Today is Wednesday, May 19th. Granger, you have some tour dates coming up. Kansas, May 28th, and Louisiana, May 29th.
Yep. Yeah, I just said on the Smiths as I was looking at my phone, there's a lot of tour dates in there, and there's going to be more and more they're filling in. So we have Kansas, Louisiana, like you said. We have Bakersfield, California. We have New Braunfels, Texas. There's some radio shows in Houston and Tulsa. Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Texas again for 4th of July. Then Missouri, a couple shows in Missouri, or no, 3 shows in Missouri. Kansas City, Lake Ozark, Trenton, Bozeman, Montana, Richmond, Utah, Evansville, Indiana, Taylorsville, Illinois, and Guthrie Center, Iowa, all in June, July.
All right. So you have some tour dates coming up. Good.
Yeah, we're excited.
This is the first time Amber's been on the Yee Yee podcast.
It is.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks for coming. Have you felt like over the last few years, especially, like, are you just so used to being in front of the camera and kind of being put on the spot and being on podcasts? I feel like it's just nothing for you these days because you're used to it.
I think I still get a little nervous every single time just because you don't know what to expect, but not with you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all are my family.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy the other day with Hayden, and he said, I won't even listen to a podcast unless there's been at least 100 episodes, because after at least 100 episodes, he's like, I feel like that's when a host knows how to like handle it and navigate the conversation and ask good questions and be empathetic. And I was like, I guess that's really with anything in life. You just have to do it and kind of be stinky for a while, and then eventually you kind of get used to it.
I think I'm on like number 84 with Granger Smith podcast.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not quite ready.
I think I'm on like 50 something.
With the rise.
So what are you guys on? Like
9 or 10? 10.
So
Episode 10.
We all suck.
So whoever's listening, this is not a legit podcast yet.
So tune in 90 weeks for episode 100.
Are you guys doing one a week now?
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
When do they launch? They launch on Wednesdays?
Yeah, we do Wednesday mornings. What time? 2 a.m.? 2 a.m. Wednesday mornings. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Why do we do that? Nobody knows why we do that.
There's no data.
Nobody knows.
Mine was launching at, I think, 5 a.m. to get on Monday mornings to get the commute to work. And I changed it recently to 6:30 a.m. because I felt like I was missing just a few people. And if you don't get into that algorithm early, but I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason. I know a lot of people release at 2 a.m.
You know, one podcast that I follow, it's the only one. I follow like 10 or subscribe to like 10 or 15, and they're the only one that launches on Sundays. And I was like, man, that's such an advantage because, like, if I'm walking or want to listen to a podcast or driving, something new, they're the only one that comes out on Sunday. So that's just something to think about. Like, you obviously have the Arise.
There's some I listen to that are Monday through Friday, and then I miss them on the weekends. I'm like, it's Saturday. I can't hear it.
That's an opportunity, I think.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, Arise Sunday morning.
Well, yeah, we're working on it. It's only on YouTube now, but working with Paul to switch it over to podcast form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Amber has y'all, Granger and Amber both have the Smiths that is Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday. Wow. And
Granger's
Granger's podcast is, we almost have every day of the week covered.
I know.
Granger's podcast is Monday, Smith's Tuesday, Yee Yee podcast Wednesday, Smith's Thursday, and then Amber's Arise is on Sunday mornings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were doing what? Were you doing Yee Yee live on Saturday or something? Or Granger something?
Well, I used to be on Friday, and I was doing Trucker Store on Fridays, which I might still do this Friday, but when that project started slowing down with parts and stuff, we couldn't do it every single Friday.
Yeah. It's a lot on our editors too.
Yeah. It's only 2 guys that edit all that.
Yeah.
I think that it would be cool to talk about the early days, like that was a super long time ago, and it doesn't really in some ways it feels like another lifetime, and then in other ways it feels like it's like, oh, that was just like 10 years ago. But like the evolution of Granger with Earl, or first of all Tyler on the road with Granger selling merch, does that feel like another lifetime to you? Were there like, so for those of you who don't know, Tyler would go on the road with Granger, and he was literally the merch guy, and you would sell gear on the road. Does that feel like another lifetime ago? Were there ever times when you were on the road and you were like, what am I doing? Should I've stayed in a corporate job?
Well, to be fair, before Tyler says anything, I guess, but to be fair, that was a long time ago because we hired Nugget in like 05. So anything before 05 was Tyler. But we had Nugget, then we had Whole Wheat, then we had, I guess we had Turtle.
Well, I did it for a while.
We have Matador.
We had Matador and then Turtle.
Was Matador?
What's up with these names?
Was Matador after me? Because was it my foot?
Yeah.
We were at a show, and I dropped the merch grid on my foot, and it swelled up like a golf ball. And Tyler, I think Tyler carried me into ponchos.
So let's go down this again. I've never really thought about this, but we had Nugget, Whole Wheat, Matador, Turtle.
Why didn't I get a cool nickname?
And then after Turtle, we hired Jeremy.
Because you didn't do it that long, did you?
I feel like I did.
Now we have Matt.
I felt responsible because I think I was selling in that interim between Matador, and then I think I had to go back in, and then Amber started helping, which was awesome. And then I drifted away. You got hurt, and then we brought on Turtle, but Turtle was only there for like
he quit in the middle of a show, one show.
Who is our cousin for those?
He was our cousin, and then we hired Jeremy, who is our tour manager Chris's little brother.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy was our longest reigning merch guy.
And now we have Nard Dog.
And now we have Nard. Yeah.
I think this is just Granger liking to give nicknames out. All these guys had normal names that did not go by these names before they worked with Granger.
We put out videos all the time back then, and so we were always trying to build the brand like we still are now, and so we gave each person a name and character.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, yes, it feels like a lifetime ago because it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like young, 20 years ago.
Yeah. For some reason, I figured that. I mean, I remember being in like middle school, and I thought you were selling merch later on. But I guess you and I would just kind of hang out at the merch table, and that's why it kind of felt like you were selling merch. I remember Tyler and Amber used to have competitions to see who could set up the merch table the fastest.
Yeah.
And I think you were the reigning champion, Amber.
And we would get so excited over, I mean, slowly like 200 a night or 300 a night. And I think maybe my highest or something, we got so excited over like $516 or something.
I don't remember.
We were so excited over that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't even know we sold that much. That's great.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of Yee Yee Apparel.
Yeah.
It helped having you two, having a pretty girl.
Well, I enjoyed talking with
Christine
everybody.
would come
And
help
Christine
you.
and my mom would come.
And so that's when we would probably one of the records was set.
Would
It's
sell
you
a
and
lot.
Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she'd be like, no, you need this koozie too, or you need this shirt too, or your girlfriend will love this. She's like overselling, upselling. But even before that, didn't y'all's mom mail out and send stuff out? Or was that
was
before
when
merch?
that was our online selling online. What mom was the one shipping them.
Yeah.
So we would go on the road and we'd sell, but I mean, our online sales were tiny.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a t-shirt a month or something. One t-shirt per month would just randomly come in, and mom had them in the kitchen in a cabinet, and she would go look for, usually it was like a CD and a t-shirt, and she'd go look in the cabinet and pull it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's funny. Amber, do you remember thinking, like, what was going through your head when the whole Yee Yee thing came about? What were your thoughts on Earl when it first happened?
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. I don't think any of us, we all wanted it to be big. I don't think any of us thought it would be what it is now. I mean, I don't know that we looked at it thinking it's going to become a brand someday.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure Tyler had that vision, or
you were pregnant with London.
Yeah, I was pregnant with London, and yeah, that was when Earl was born, 2011.
So what's going to be born now while you're pregnant with Maverick?
I don't know. What are you guys going to do?
I don't know.
What's next?
So, were you sending all of the orders out yourself?
From home, yeah. And we had a little office in Round Rock. No, I was probably sending them out in our first house before when I was pregnant with London.
Yep, we had Well, we had the trailer because the van and trailer would park in the gravel driveway, the dirt road driveway, which is where the album name came from. The van and trailer would park in the dirt road driveway, and then you would go outside and open the trailer and dig through and go, I need a medium.
Gosh, it does. It does seem like a lifetime ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an old picture of Amber in London sending out orders that Brian can put on the screen right here. That's pretty awesome. Hayden actually made a meme of it the other day that was like, when there was a trend going around that was like, what was it, Ben?
How it started.
Oh yeah, how it started versus how it's going. And so it was like an old picture of London and Amber, and then it showed our warehouse now with like Caleb like leading a squad of Yee Yee shippers to like a big truck. It's pretty cool to see the evolution of it, but it's not really anything that, I mean, it's just something that you kind of go day by day with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if any of us could, do y'all have an idea? I literally have the two founders and Amber in the room. Do y'all have an idea of where, compared to where we were 10 years ago, where we will be 10 years from now?
Well, that's a Tyler question because he's more of the long-term vision guy. But I was going to say on a side note that before Yee Yee, Tyler could correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of times our best seller was this shirt called "If you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a Mexican in the band."
Yeah.
And we had my bass player was Manny. He wasn't even Mexican. He was actually half German, half Puerto Rican. But we used it to talk because it was funny, and everyone in Texas loved it. And there's so many Hispanic speakers in Texas, and they loved that shirt.
Nobody was offended.
Yeah.
Nobody was offended back then, but they loved it. So we sold it. Was gray, and it had like a blue little character from Mexico, and he was playing a bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I would introduce him, and I would say, as I was introducing the band, and I'd say, if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a Mexican in the band. And everyone would cheer like crazy. And so we sold a lot of that shirt. And I remember when we reordered one day, and we ordered a whole bunch. Like for us, reordering was like 2 boxes of Gildan. So we had 2 full boxes of Gildan. We just got them in the mail. We put them in the trailer.
Let me precede that. What you're about to say was, I bought Granger for Christmas one year 2 T-shirts. It was like all the money I had in my account. It's like $500 order, and there was 2 T-shirts, and one of them was that one, and I gave them to him for Christmas, and then they went on tour, and then.
So then we were driving. I don't think you know the story, Parker, but we were in the van, and the side door of the trailer wasn't latched when we left, and we were in College Station, going on Highway 21, going across Highway 6 on the bridge. And as we turned onto the bridge, the door of the side door opened, and all of those shirts fell out off the bridge onto Highway 6 and went everywhere. If you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a Mexican in the band. All these shirts just flew like little birds everywhere in College Station. And we were like, ah! It was like a night. It was just a terrible nightmare.
So someone on Highway 6 probably just found a bunch of random
They're probably still there.
shirts.
Gosh.
I love those old band stories that were just so ridiculous. Like if you get a bunch of guys in a van with a trailer behind it, especially with y'all, like there's just going to be some ridiculous stories that come about.
I used to travel with you guys, and that was so much fun before we had kids, and we always stopped at the gas stations after the shows, and it was so fun. I mean, all the guys were so funny. I laughed so hard every night.
I miss the gas station stops, and I have forgotten how hard it was to travel in a van.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it was so hard physically, and you get so tired. I get tired in a bus too, but I have forgotten that kind of camaraderie that we had. And when you're with each other all the time, taking turns driving, but you're seeing terrible hotels. The cheapest, our hotels that we stayed in were the cheapest you could find. That was their criteria. What's the absolute cheapest?
$30. Remember that one in Amarillo?
Yeah, it was $19.99.
Yeah.
Cockroaches. But if you're looking at a budget for a tour, and you're getting paid, say you're getting paid $500, that's like an average, and there's 5 people in the band. So if everyone's going to get paid at least $100 for the day, I don't have anything left for gas. And unless I'm selling, if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a Mexican in the band, t-shirts. And so then our budget for hotels was nothing. So it needed to be one room that was like $30. That was the average. And then we would pull the mattresses off, put them on the floor, like get a double queen bed and put the mattresses on the floor. So then you had 4 beds because you had the box springs. So 2 guys would sleep on the box spring, 2 guys would sleep on the mattresses, and that would sleep 8 total if you needed it. And that was tough, but I have forgotten those hard times, and I more remember the camaraderie, seeing the country. Like when we would go out west, you'd see New Mexico, you'd see the mountains, you'd see the sunsets, you'd see the sunrises. We don't see any of that in the bus. I just wake up and I'm in another parking lot, ready to play.
You know what that kind of reminds me of is y'all living in a barn right now and kind of just being, rather than being in a house where you're completely separated from the elements, y'all have both kind of talked about how when you hear it rain, it's going to rain. And when it's hot, you're going to feel the heat. You really feel all the seasons, right?
Totally. Yeah, we feel it. It's what's scary about living in a barn, not scary, but what's gives me anxiety is coming up onto the 1 year mark, which we're right around the 1 year. So we could do everything once, one season. But now that we're thinking about the second summer coming around, and we have these wolf spiders, and there's these massive wolf spiders that live in our barn and with us, and scorpions. But I've been stung by scorpions several times now. It's not that big a deal. But the wolf spiders will mate this time of year, and then they'll make babies. What is that, babe? Like September? What did we decide? I think it's September or August.
I think it's the next one. Right now we're in roly-poly season.
Yeah.
So we have roly-polies everywhere. It's like there's like different bug seasons. But I think, and then it's scorpions, and then I think wolf spiders come.
So the wolf spiders carry their babies on their back, and there'll be a big mama, and they come out at night. So it's like I go brush my teeth in the barn, and I come out, and there's just one standing there in the middle of the floor,
like
with 100 babies on its back.
More than 100.
More than 100. And so the first time I saw that, I smacked it with my boot, actually the ones I'm wearing now, flat on the bottom.
Oh, no.
And it just shot them everywhere. It shot the little babies everywhere, like an explosion of baby spiders. They got
they were crawling on you.
They got all over me, all over Gypsy, our dog, all over everything. Just explosion of babies. So now we know. Smash and
flat and
twist.
And you might see like 1 or 2. Sorry for spider lovers out there, but we smash them.
Someone is driving on their way to work right now, just cringing as that just came out.
Like arachnophobia.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the pros of living in a barn. Is millions and millions of spiders. We get those here at the farm too, in the gym. Tyler and I. There's just so many roly-polies.
Yeah.
And we were talking to the bug guy, and he was like, "That's just the roly-polies attract them." The little bugs, because that's what they eat, and so we get the cellar spiders with the really long legs in the gym.
The daddy long legs?
No, they're not daddy long legs. It's like a mixture in between.
Okay.
Between like a wolf spider and a daddy long legs. It's just anyway. I'll stop talking about spiders.
Okay.
Yeah. Good thing is I got to write a song out of it called "I Kill Spiders."
Yeah.
Was that out of?
Well, we hadn't moved there yet, but we had been seeing wolf spiders, and wolf spiders are just scary because they're so big. Actually, One Bit River, they will bite you. In One Bit River, on his back, and it's swelled up. They're devious.
Since I feel like London has gotten pretty tough with bugs and fish and stuff, right?
She has.
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting really brave and adventurous in all of her little creatures. She just loves creatures, but she did used to be scared of bugs.
Now she holds slugs, crawfish, all kinds of things.
Everything.
Yeah. So, Amber, why don't you talk about kind of your role with Yee Yee Apparel now and how you're involved for those that may not know?
So now I do most of the women's line. So I'll do designs, and then I'll bring them to you guys. We'll have a meeting about them. You guys tell me what you love, what you totally hate, and then we pick out the designs for each season.
Yeah.
So
we're trying to get more structured with it as we grow, and it's been really fun to, as we slowly start to do, as y'all may notice like as we start to do slowly like more type swimsuits and more like custom jackets, like I'm actually wearing one right now that's a sample for next fall, that just some of these products that people don't realize take. I started the first concept of this jacket in May of 2020. So it's already been 12 months since, like, some of these products take like 12 or 18 months. It's just crazy, the turnaround time.
Yeah, and I think we're learning with especially swimwear that we can't make everybody happy, and that unless we start from scratch and make it from the ground up, we're not going to get like the fit and the style and what people are requesting. But like you said, it takes a year, to come up with that design.
It's crazy. And then Granger, you've kind of gone from being really involved with it, and then Tyler as well, to more of like a passive founder. And then you're busy with the Smiths and with music and touring, which is what you really like to do.
Yeah, I do love Yee Yee Apparel, and I want to always be involved in those, but it gets to be so much, like with the shirt of the month. A lot of times the shirt of the month, I see it when it's in the warehouse, and that's the first time I've seen it, when it's already printed. So you've been involving me more, and as our seasonal launches get bigger, we finally learned to have a meeting about it ahead of time, so we could do a creative meeting and really dive into that, so that we could all kind of have our opinions, because Tyler's he's gonna love a certain shirt style. I'm gonna learn to love a certain shirt style and hats, and then we're all gonna agree on what we think the other people are going to love, not just what we do. So it's important for us to have those meetings, and we're learning as a company to start involving everybody's opinion when it comes to that.
Yeah, it used to be, it was like y'all were super involved, and then I was just doing everything, and then we were like, hold on, we need to like all be on the same page for this stuff, because then Granger would just come in and be like, what is this hat even? Like, I would never even wear this. And then I didn't even think there was any girls that would want anything, and then Amber was like, I'm getting a lot of requests from people who want girl stuff, and then I was making stuff that was not what people wanted. So it's been cool for us to all like put our heads together, and then now that we have like Ben and Brian here and Hayden, it's just more heads and more people to give opinions to figure out what we think is going to do well and try to plan these launches further out in advance. It's been such a learning process, but it's been so fulfilling and rewarding.
Yeah, it's been a learning process of learning what we like personally versus what we think our audience and our fans will like. So trying to balance that has been tricky, because I know sometimes I'll make things that I think that I like, but then don't do well, and then things that I think will do really well don't.
Yeah.
Or did I say that right? Vice versa. So it's just like lining up your likes with what our target audience is really needing and wanting and going after. Yeah.
And it's been funny to see our like audience and like the brand evolve from like super to evolve from like super like if you look back at some of our stuff that we used to have in like 2010, 2011, it was just like basically like memes and sayings on apparel, versus like some of the like now we have stuff like leggings and bras and like an athleisure line and like bringing in more premium stuff. So it's just been interesting to like kind of walk that line between like not taking ourselves too seriously, but then also like becoming a brand.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. This Saturday is the NASCAR race, and Granger is going. Are you excited?
Yeah. To be honest with you, to be honest with the listeners, we've been frustrated because as everything we've been dealing with in the last 16 months, COVID is still taking its toll. So NASCAR is limiting our guest list to that. So that's frustrating that we finally get a car on the track and we're so excited. I'm going to get to go, but not everyone in this room is going to get to go because of the restrictions. So at the same time, I'm very excited.
Yeah. So right now while we're recording this, we don't know how Brandon did at Dover. Is that the place? Yeah, Dover. He's starting third this Saturday, which will have been a few days prior to this releasing. But it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really fun. If you're not, it's going to be on FS1, I believe. Fox Sports 1 is what the Xfinity series is on. Sometimes it's on the main Fox channel. And I think it'll be at 3 o'clock this Saturday. And if you're in the Austin area, you should get tickets and go. And if you see us, come say hi. You'll see Hayden and myself and Granger in the pit box. And you'll probably see Granger with a camera yelling. And it'll be fun.
If they let me. If they let me have a camera, because COVID, cameras,
Yeah. They did just announce that we don't have to wear masks outside there.
Ah, thank goodness.
But we do have to wear them inside.
What is inside at Coda?
I think
It's all outside.
I don't know. Good question.
All right, cool.
So no masks.
Cool. I haven't worn a mask in a long, long time.
Tyler was kind of the leader out of our crew, heading that up, where he just kind of like, I'm just going to stop wearing a mask around here. I'm a little bit more of a baby with it.
Yeah.
I don't like when people yell at me. Sorry.
I still just, if it says it on the door, I still just do it.
You wear the mask?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not reading nothing on no door. Just walking.
I still do it.
Yeah, Tyler's not going to walk up to the door and be like, oops, almost forgot.
They'll
Jogs
usually
back to
have
his
one.
car.
I don't know.
I was at the bank the other day. I haven't worn a mask in forever, and I had to go to the bank. And the first time actually I went, they didn't say anything. I snuck in there. But then the second time I went a couple of days later, they made me wear one. Said, "Do you have a mask?" I said, "No." She said, "Can I get you one?" I'm like, "I'm all right." And she said, "Well, you have to wear them." I was like, "I thought the mask mandate was over in Texas." And she said, well, the Wells Fargo head requires masks. And I was like, "Well, do you know when we're not gonna have to wear masks?" And she said, "No, don't know." I was like, "Yeah, cool. So we're just gonna wear them forever? Is that the deal?" Put my damn mask on and left.
Yeah, I just don't care as much as you do about it. I would much rather not. So I don't have one. I don't travel with one. I don't have one on me. I don't have one in my truck. But at the same time, if I walk into Ace Hardware like I did a couple of weeks ago, walked into Ace Hardware and I was looking for something and they were like, "Do you have a mask?" And I said, "No." And I said, "Do you?" That's what I'll always say. "Do you have one?" And usually they'll say, "Yeah, we have some disposable ones." So I'm like, whatever. I'll put on the disposable one.
I legit can't breathe well with masks. And I have asthma. I've had it for my whole life. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I legit struggle a little bit with getting the oxygen that I need to be fine.
Yeah.
That might sound silly to some people, but
No, I think that's a thing. And the kids still have to wear them at school every day. We still have to punch in an app and do their temperatures every day. It's like you were saying, Lincoln's kind of getting attached to it to where he wants it. Now you were saying it's like a comfort for him, and he doesn't like it.
that's what they want.
Yeah, he's like, "Take off your mask."
Well, the death toll and the what do you call it? Contraction toll is just plummeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're almost out of it.
All right. Well, on that note, our time is up. Go Brandon this Saturday, 3 o'clock on FS1. Y'all look for the Yee Yee car. There's going to be a dadgum Yee Yee NASCAR.
We'll all
So
be there
cool.
with no
Started
mask
in a
on.
garage with London and Amber, and there's a camo car. So keep an eye out for a couple goofy dudes and Yee Yee shirts in the pit box yelling. So thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.